Welcome to the Todd and Erin daily stream. This was the coolest convention. I wish to heavens that we could have had time to like taste all this stuff.
Which one?
They did the New Food Taste Convention down in Las Vegas because that's where they do everything now. And it was basically all of the food corporations, you know, but they were trying to integrate all of their things into new food tastes and combinations that would become the next gourmet craze.
Do you know that every year 705 different foods are introduced to the American public?
I did not know that.
And most of them are just combinations of older types of food that we have already eaten.
So it's essentially like Hollywood then.
For example,
okay,
it's like a regurg.
Always, yeah.
Watch.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Todd's Test Kitchen with my lovely wife, Erin.
Oh, thank you. Now, the food trends of 2018, at first I thought you were like maybe actually being punitive with me, but then I went back and took a look at the article now. These are the things that, for instance, you might be finding at some of the hippest restaurants as appetizers, so some exciting new dish. And it does remind me of that time we went to New Orleans and they gave us fire shrimp.
Oh, yes.
And they told us later it was flaming hot Cheetos that they had crushed and then put on the shrimp, and I went, why would you have done that? To anyone, but these are the things that are like big trends, and it's like, and they have their own pages on Twitter, and millions of people follow them, and this stuff is popular.
So
the chances are good you might have consumed one of these items.
So what we decided to do is kind of chase them down and actually try them ourselves, much to Erin's dismay. But today, couldn't be more American, Erin.
Oh.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Well, everyone likes peanut butter and jelly.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
You ready? Let's make it. All right, so I'm going to have you assemble this before the surprise, okay? What do you want, peanut butter or jelly?
Well, you always start with the peanut butter. You have to have the base, right? So, now is this like a generous or just like medium peanut butter?
When's the last time you had a peanut butter sandwich?
I made one for Zoe the other day. Does that count?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can make a peanut butter sandwich, Todd.
Okay.
Now, are you a double coater or do you just?
Oh no! What are you?
What kind of a monster am I?
What's wrong with you?
Only thing I don't like about using the same knife is then you get like the peanut butter and the jelly, and it's not like the Reese's peanut butter cups where they act like it's like a Nobel Prize winning concept.
It's still going in all the same pie hole.
I mean, know, but it's not the same. Okay.
All right, you feel good? Okay, so so now we have the peanut butter, and now we have the jelly. And I went with the plain jelly, not the preserve, which sometimes I like.
Yeah, but the preserves have more seeds in them, and I don't like that. Okay.
Now, what would you, can you even imagine? Here's a clue for you.
What are you putting in it?
Okay, let me get it over here so you couldn't see it. Hang on.
Right.
Hang on.
You know, this really is a classic. I can't imagine violating something as simple and elegant. Oh, dear Lord, what is that?
Doritos.
Those are nacho cheese Doritos?
Yep.
What would you possess?
It's not me, hon. I'm just following the food trends.
Give me the information. Oh.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, they serve this in a series of restaurants.
Okay.
By a hot new chef, I guess, over in England.
Yes.
And this is his artistic twist on the standard classic, it says.
Is that
nacho cheese Dorito. Why are they doing this in London? Is this like American, like I'm lowering myself to American food level? What is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I will now put it together.
Yeah.
And as always, you cut her this way because I never see you make sandwiches. I'm this guy.
That is, I don't think that a peanut butter sandwich is supposed to make that noise.
All right.
Really?
And you know what time it is?
Maybe you could just try it out this time.
No, married couples should share moments like this.
Really? I thought you loved me.
Ladies first.
I thought you loved me.
Ladies first. Now, why'd you take the one on the bottom?
Because you usually like the top crust better, and I was trying to be a nice person.
That'll be over soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that.
Once again, grape jelly, peanut butter, and Doritos.
Nacho cheese Doritos. I'm not going to lie, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
I really thought I'd be more disgusted by this.
It needs more Doritos, though.
I would think so.
Right? Mm-hmm. Here. How is it? Don't tell me. I want to find out. Hang on.
The additional Doritos are actually quite helpful. The peanut butter and the nacho cheese Doritos actually go better than I thought.
I still can't picture myself uttering the words, "Hey, I'll have another one of those."
Well, it's an expensive series of restaurants, so maybe they come in very small portions.
I'll tell you what, if I go to an expensive restaurant and they show up with this on the plate.
We're going.
All right, 1 to 10, 1 to 10. We always do this, 1 to 10. And not, so you're going to say 4 or 5, and that means 4 or 5 is like, I can take it.
7. It's not bad.
Really?
I don't know why it should be disgusting, but that's really not
I
bad.
don't think it's disgusting. I just wouldn't eat it.
It's really not bad. Like if I went
There
to
you go.
someone's house and said, hey, this is what we're having, to be okay. It would not be bad. I mean,
And then you would unfriend them. That's all you need to do. Well, another edition of Todd's Test Kitchen, testing the groovy stuff that people are eating for no apparent reason.
got crumbs on your upper lip.
You think?
It's very sexy.
I'm not going to eat them. I'm going to wipe them off like
Creepy.
The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by PC Laptops, with desktops and laptops starting as low as $7.99 with a lifetime parts and service warranty. They fix phones too. Go to PCLaptops.com. Welcome back to the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. Now,
Now, if you go to England, right? What do you expect to see?
I'd like to go see Big Ben,
Big
the Eye,
Ben.
and the Houses of Parliament, and
What's
all
the
of
eye?
downtown
The
London.
eye is the eye. The big.
Yeah, the big Ferris wheel.
It's like, oh,
Beautiful thing.
I puke here. I puke here. I puke here. I puke here. Now I'm okay.
Okay.
Puking. Okay. There's so many things to see there, including a boob, a breast. What should I say?
I think a breast is a
I'm going to
perfect.
say a breast.
Now, I would rarely let another guy do a story like this, but Todd is the most respectful human being in the world when it comes to female anatomy. So I feel like he would be very good at this story.
This is called cleavage for a cause.
Tell me more.
That's not what it's called.
I like it though. It's catchy.
Free the Feed is the organization, and what they're trying to do is bring more awareness to women who are breastfeeding or pumping, and have some kind of respect for that.
Support.
Now, I think
there's-
was it in the Commons or was it in Congress that someone was actually breastfeeding? I think it was the Congress.
It wasn't Congress. It was down in the Australian Congress. The Prime
Bingo.
Minister of New Zealand
Bingo.
will actually nurse during briefings and stuff like that.
Right.
And then
That's
then
so
the British
cool.
Parliament, they had their first one, and I thought that was so amazing. And for anyone who doesn't understand, when you're a nursing mom, they're so utilitarian that you have no understanding of them as a sexual object. And I know that a lot of men may misinterpret it that way, but I think that the importance of it, being able to nourish your child, and especially for pumping, for so many people who go back to work.
Amazing.
The funny thing is when Todd and I do, Erin's night out, and there's like 3,000 women there, there's a good chunk of them, especially here in Utah, that are nursing mothers. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
bring your baby. We want you to have a good time, and you're going to be stressed if the baby's at home.
So she puts him in our hotel room and doesn't tell me. Here I come into the hotel room.
Most of the time I tell
we
you.
got our stuff parked there, and I walk in, and there's 3 women breastfeeding, and I was just like,
They were like,
well,
"Hi, Dad."
hello.
Yeah, and none of them were upset, were
No,
they?
of course not.
Of course, you also turned around and screeched like a barn owl and banged into the
No,
door.
I'm fine with it, and that's
No,
cool.
you're respectful, and that's the point. It's that this is a daring thing they did, but explain how they advertised it. 'Cause it's
So
brilliant.
basically, they had these ones that are like 4 feet to 10 feet across. They had
Breasts.
a single breast, and they put them in like famous places.
Were these like giant balloon?
Yes, you could
shaped
not.
and-
You could all different colors
Okay.
and sizes, and you could not miss them. Trust me, you could not miss them. And
I
there
love
they
it.
were, And then all of a sudden they started pushing the campaign. So people were like, oh, that's what this is about. Let's continue the conversation.
And I love the fact that all these major famous landmarks went, you absolutely can place that inflatable breast on top of our building. I think that's wonderful.
Free the feed. Check it out. Free the feed.
Sadly, they are apparently going to de-inflate them over the next couple of days.
But not forever.
No, you can't.
They have to come back, and they
can't,
will.
You can't push those suckers down.
They'll be back. They'll be back.
I'm sorry, but I love that. Okay, now every year at the Utah State Legislature, we expect there's going to be things. Like, we never knew that the state cooking pot was required until they created the Dutch oven. We're like, I feel better.
The official Utah gun is?
We have a gun?
We have a gun.
Like a rifle, like Frontier Days, maybe?
No, it's a 9mm. I think it's like a Ruger or something. Don't send letters.
Why would we?
What's the tree?
It's the cottonwood spruce.
No.
Oh, no. It's the Colorado pine. Yeah, it's a Colorado pine. I know that because they used to mock about it.
Blue spruce.
Okay, well, it was a pine.
No, maybe it's not Colorado. What's the bird?
It's a Colorado blue spruce.
Bird.
It's a seagull.
What kind?
California seagull.
It is somebody else's seagull.
Yeah.
What's up, people? Gila monster.
Isn't it a Gila monster?
It could be a Gila, could be a Gila.
I know it's spelled with a G, but isn't it pronounced with an H?
It's a hell of a Gila. And it is. I want you to picture this. I want you to picture a lizard, like a gecko. Now, nub everything down into the rounded shape with the rounded paws. Not paws, because it's a...
Claws.
Huh. And they spend
I'm trying to picture it.
They spend most of their time underground. And their tail is like this rounded nub thing.
Poor things. Do we actually have Gila monsters here in Utah?
Well,
I've never heard of that.
We've never seen them. They're the only they're one of two venomous lizards.
We have Gila monsters here in Utah.
We do. They spend most of their time underground. So in other words, we just named the reptile of Utah for something that no one will ever see. I like the geckos and the small lizards at Lake Powell.
Those are endearing. And also we see them up in the mountains.
And they're cute. And
yeah.
You could go tarantula, but that's an insect. Mm-hmm. But we're looking for a reptile. And so that's...
Why wouldn't you use a diamond... If you're using a reptile, why wouldn't we use like a diamondback rattlesnake or one of the many wonderful snakes that we have here in Utah? I love snakes. I mean, I don't want to walk over a diamondback anymore because Zachy and I ran into one and that was plenty. But they're cool. Why wouldn't you pick one of our awesome snakes instead of the Gila monster that essentially belongs to like New Mexico, right?
I know why. Okay. I know why. Because they're really slow. If they chase you, it's like this.
So you'd have time to take a nap, stop for some snacks. In the middle of the pursuit.
That's basically the pursuit. You're like, oh no!
Don't eat me.
Then the nap.
Monster.
And then you get up, have a sandwich, and start taking some more steps.
You know, being a mother is like this whole concept of guilt and anxiety, like all the time. Like,
for you, it is.
Please, God, don't let me be the worst mother in the world.
Why?
I know I'll never be the best mother, no matter how hard I try, and God knows I try. But
that's because you set standards.
Well, they're important standards. These are our children. This is their shot that they have to be amazing. They have to have an amazing beginning. Okay. It's the beginning of their life.
Okay.
However, I feel a lot better about myself today, and perhaps it's wrong to compare myself, but I have found officially perhaps the worst mother in North America. Mm-hmm. All right, let me think this. Perhaps the most ill-advised mother in North America. It's a Weber County woman facing a slew of different charges because she threw a child's birthday party at her Harrisville home.
Now, a lot of people do this, and some people go over the top and they get a pony. And what?
She partied with at least 12 minors, ranging in ages of 14 to 17, with her child.
Oh, pony.
Her name's Rihanna Renee Nevins.
They're too old.
Apparently, during the party, minors drank alcohol and smoked marijuana. She knew about it because she even joined in to have cocktails with them. And then the minors told the police that at one point, Nevins went upstairs where, according to court documents, she put on a risque outfit, which they described as red and black lingerie that exposed... I'm not going to go into what it exposed, but I think we can all guess. And then proceeded to give lap dances to the children at her kid's birthday party. At least one minor had recorded the events, and his parents had found it.
Oh, no, really?
Which was how this party was discovered. She is now facing the following charges of 4 counts of dealing in harmful material to a minor by an adult, 4 counts of lewdness, no surprise there, and 4 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. No surprise there. At what point does it come into your thought process that you go, I'm going to throw a party for my kid? It is going to be the bangingest party the entire year. It will be discussed by parents world over by its awesomeness.
Well, it is
and
now.
then decide that it would involve alcohol,
Right.
marijuana, and lingerie.
Well, have you been to Chuck E. Cheese?
I would eat Chuck E. Cheese for the rest of my life.
Okay, just
And
throwing
then
it out
I'm
there.
just picturing the concept of giving lap dances to my kids' friends. And I'm like,
Okay,
and now my brain has exploded.
now I'm gross.
And it's coming out of my nostrils
Okay.
because it's too awful to contemplate.
All right, so tell me about this now.
Oh, okay. This is pretty interesting. We were talking a lot about house prices because Todd and I are looking again. The housing market's kind of slowing down, so it's not as psychotic as it
So
was.
if you have a tough shed,
But here's the thing. You were telling me this statistic, but they say that 70% of Utahns...
it's like 70% of Utahns could not buy their own house at the current price.
They could not afford to buy their own house at the current price, and they're saying that this is actually slowing down a lot of our growth in the nationwide because our community quality of life index took a big tumble, and it's really interesting. And the main thing is the rapidly rising housing costs, and even rent is no longer particularly affordable to people.
That's true.
It's one of the reasons they've been desperately doing so much high density housing. But they said we've lowered our quality of life even over time, even with an improving economy. Because they're talking about Utahns' concerns, and they say that being financially secure
Right.
is the lowest performing of their data,
That's
meaning that
so
we're all
weird.
scared that we're not going to be able to afford to have a home, take care of our families, save money for retirement, for their college funds.
Well, you know, we used to kid so much doing radio that in San Francisco, you would expect, and this is before you could work from home, you know, and the talent they had there was, what's the word I should use?
And you're talking about in radio, right?
In radio. Less than you would expect from a city that
You would
large.
expect a top 10 market would be spectacular talent.
Because no
and
one
just
could
over the top.
no one could afford to live there. You could
You
pay
couldn't pay them enough.
you
to
could pay
afford
them
it.
$750,000 a year each, or if there was 3 each, and they still couldn't afford to live in the Bay Area.
Everybody we know who lives in the city has at least 3 jobs just to be able
Just
to
to
afford to
survive.
live there.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, but that's what they're saying now is that's what we're kind of turning into, that people are really worried, I will never be able to buy a house here. And for a lot of people, that's still part of the dream of
So
having
what
a
we can
family.
hope
and
for is a housing crisis.
that doesn't seem right.
Can I tell you one story of the first house I ever bought? And this is back in the late 80s. And if you know what HUD is, it was the houses that were in desperation to be sold. The government ended up owning them. And if you remember, an old Yellow Pages was this thick. That's how big the HUD listing was. I got a 5-bedroom,
Wow.
4-bathroom, 3/4 acre, custom built home with huge trees.
In Salt Lake City.
With 2-car garage, with a carport, with a circular driveway. And I got all of that for $56,000.
We're so screwed.
It's like they paid me basically
So
to
screwed.
take the house off their hands.
And that's in Salt Lake City. I mean,
But that makes me sound like, get off my lawn, you youngins.
no, I think that everyone's kind of going, that sounds wonderful, actually.
I know.
Okay.
All right.
I think that we should do Tell Me Something Good. Do you want to do a dueling Tell Me Something Good to see which is more awesome?
Yes, but I'll win. Go ahead.
All right, mine's pretty good. Governor Gary Herbert just signed the hate crimes bill into law. Now, this has been going through the legislature for over a decade. And every year when they put it forward again, and it's carefully worded, and they're going through a vision of, people it could save, and it gets, and it all falls apart. This year, they have finally signed it. Now, it adds enhanced penalties for crimes to race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and ethnicity. Now, once again, if you are specifically focusing a person who has any of these attributes,
Right.
in order to commit this crime or perpetrate harm, you are then charged with additional penalties under the new hate crimes law.
Okay, that's a good one.
One of the few things they added, which I thought was interesting, is they also added age, homelessness, and political expression. For instance, if you're homeless and you're attacked,
Oh my gosh.
that is also a hate crime, which I think is important because
Yes.
the assault rate on the homeless is
Yeah.
appalling. Political expression, once again, the same thing. If you were protesting and and someone attacks you, that is an additional penalty.
No, you just challenged me with a story like that.
So congratulations, guys, for
Nice
finally getting it
job.
done. And I know it's not perfect. I know it's not. But this is a really important step towards helping people understand the seriousness of what's happening to those who may not have the same power, or they may be disenfranchised.
Oh, you're going to win.
All right. Now, tell me yours, though. It's going to
John
be good.
McHugh.
Tell me.
John McHugh in Canada.
Okay.
John McHugh in Canada suffering horrible things on the street where he lived. And what we're talking about is something we're dealing with right now, which is potholes. Mm-hmm. We drive around them. We get too close to cars on the left and the right. You hit a couple, you could get a flat tire. Worse ones, you need an alignment. One of the ones that he reported was the fact that someone hit the one outside his house and it tore the axle right off the car.
That seems like a lot.
Now, so what he did is, you pick it up there.
This is a man who got angry. It's a man that wanted to change things. So he grabbed a snow shovel and started shifting gravel and road from the roadside ditches and then moving it into the potholes. And now that the passing traffic has packed the filling into the holes,
See?
he said the road is significantly better than when he started. So yeah, it's not the big expensive blacktopping that perhaps the city would do. But that
Because they didn't get around to it.
Now here's the irony though. That being said, local police officers warned him that if he did not stop his mission, he would be charged.
With how much?
Even though penalties vary, DIY road repair is discouraged across the state and regional governments, and so they can also take legal action. So he could get fined $200 to $2,000
What?
every time he fills in a pothole.
Oh, you dirty rotten.
Well, here's the awesome thing. Despite receiving these warnings, he showed up with his snow shovel in hand, and he said, "I hope they don't come and get me till I'm done with this."
Right.
So he continued his vigilante efforts towards saving people from potholes, and then the thank yous began to flow
People
in.
saw him doing this and they were like, what the? And after a couple days, they started stopping with coffee or cocoa and stuff. And then
Cookies,
and then a case of beer. And then, because it's legal in Canada, there's some cannabis. Because, get it? Pot holes. Isn't that rich? Now he needs some Oreos.
I think that's hysterical. He says so he's been saving up the money that he's gotten from tips from grateful roadsters.
That's so funny.
Because he's going to move in to Alberta and Maine. So he's like, so I've just been saving everything because I'm going to keep filling potholes until they stop me.
What a beautiful
They take
man.
my snow shovel away from my cold dead hands.
Such a beautiful man. Just to let
See,
you know.
they are beautiful in both ways.
All right, they're both.
That's true.
Equally.
Yeah.
The reason I had to leave is because our dog was going and eating his food, and so I had to go get this from the dog.
There's the professionalism
There you
you
go.
expect from us to do.
You do the show from your home. This is it. This is what you got.
Speaking of, well, actually, it has nothing to do with the dog or the dog food. Starting next Monday, we are doing a contest where if you would like to join us at April's Fan X, where they've got all of the stars downtown at the Salt Lake Convention Center, we are going to have 2 volunteer reporters. That means that you would join us as media, as press, with your own special press tags, and you could also cover stories from Comic-Con. So if you want to get into the running for that, or you think that your kid would be like an awesome reporter, we're going to start that contest on Monday.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. Come here, Gil.
You're all choked up about this.
No, I'm just going to get our dog his food because he's looking at me like, what the... Come here, Gil.
Good timing, Gil.
Good dog.